Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Let's Mod Warframe. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Tenno lever action burst fire rifle release in update 13.3, the Sybaris. Now, as I mentioned in the intro, the Sybaris is a burst fire weapon, firing 2 shots in very quick succession, doing 70 damage a shot, or 140 damage per burst, with the damage split fairly evenly between the 3 damage types, although very slightly favouring slash damage over the others. With the fact that the weapon boasts that 70 damage per shot, it makes it one of the hardest hitting rifles out there, falling just short of the Latron Prime in damage per shot. Now, much like the Latron Prime, the Sybaris has a very decent 25% critical chance and a very decent 200% critical damage multiplier, meaning that a critical build is likely to be optimal for this weapon. Although with a 10% status chance as well, a hybrid build between critical and status can be very decent later game. Another awesome advantage the Sybaris boasts is the recoil between shots of the burst is extremely low, meaning that aiming for the bursts at the head of an enemy, the second shot is likely to follow the first directly onto the target, really boosting the damage output of this weapon. It's long been a criticism of other burst fire weapons that making the whole burst hit weak spots is very unlikely due to the recoil, but the low recoil of the Sybaris, combined with the fact that it only fires 2 shots in the burst, means that making those follow-up shots is very easy. The weapon itself does come with some disadvantages, however. Firstly, is the very small clip size at just 10 rounds on the magazine. The Sybaris can only fire 5 bursts before it needs to reload, and with a 2-second reload time, it can really feel that you're spending a lot of the mission reloading the weapon. Secondly, the lack of polarity on the weapon means that when modding the weapon for a critical build, there is very little room for any other mods once the required critical mods are on there. Finally, and this is something I've brought up during my Tiburon video, burst fire weapons can be less efficient at killing enemies, since an enemy might just need 3 shots to kill, but you have to fire another burst just to get that 1 extra shot. Although with just 2 rounds in the burst, it's less inefficient than the other burst fire weapons. Now, the Sybaris itself is a dojo weapon, meaning that you have to be in a clan with the appropriate research completed. The weapon itself, however, is not expensive to build, with it requiring 2 Morphics, 800 salvage, 200 Bedo, and probably the most expensive part, which is the fact that it requires a former to build. Now, the weapon also comes with a mastery rank requirement of 5, so this is not a weapon that you're going to be able to pick up and use quickly. Okay, so let's start to move on to modding the Sybaris. Now, we've got 4 mods that are going to be the same on every single build that we do. We're going to have Serration for more damage, Split Chamber for multi-shot, Point Strike for critical chance, and Vital Sense for critical damage. Now, the elemental combos are what's going to be different between the weapons. Now, because of the requirement to have Point Strike and Vital Sense on this weapon, you're not going to be able to get a full elemental combo on there. So there are going to be mods that are not going to be maxed. And taking that into consideration, rather than doing a radiation build for Grenade like I normally would, I would go with a viral build, because it allows you to use Malignant Force, which you can get from tier 4 void missions from getting the Vor boss, and he should drop it there, and then combining that with a rank 6 cryo rounds to bring up that viral damage combination. Now, moving on to the Corpus, we've got again Serration, Split Chamber, Point Strike and Vital Sense, but this time we've got a rank 7 Stormbringer and a rank 6 cryo rounds, just to bring up that magnetic damage against the heavily shielded units of the Corpus. Now, moving on to the Void build and also against the Infested. Again, Serration, Split Chamber, Point Strike and Vital Sense, but this time we've got Malignant Force and Stormbringer, an unranked Stormbringer, to bring up that corrosive combination for the armoured units of the Void. Okay, and now onto my recommendation as to whether I feel this weapon is worth the investment of firstly a former in the build, and then advancing on to putting a catalyst onto the weapon. And the answer to that is not as straightforward as I thought previously. Those of you that have been with my channel for a while will remember the Tiburon video I did previously, in which I said that I thought the Sybaris was a better weapon because of the critical damage that the Tiburon lacks. However, I wonder how much of that was me looking back fondly on a weapon, rather than me being realistic as to the capabilities of the weapons. Now, while I stand by the fact that I stated the Sybaris is going to do more damage for longer because of the critical damage, I no longer feel that the Sybaris being a better weapon is necessarily a correct conclusion to have come to. I feel that potentially the Tiburon and Sybaris have completely different roles within a mission. The Sybaris is designed for doing a lot of quick damage to a single target, taking down high importance targets, things like Eximus units and heavy units, especially given its small magazine capacity, whereas the Tiburon is more of a crowd control weapon, dealing constant sustained fire on the smaller targets such as your standard units, crewmen, troopers, that sort of thing. So my recommendation is in two parts. If you want a hard-hitting weapon with a limited magazine capacity designed to take down heavy units, then go for the Sybaris. If you prefer having the extra magazine size while sacrificing some of the damage, I would recommend the Tiburon. Now on to the question of Forma, and would I recommend Forma on this weapon, and the answer to that is yes, I would. If you want to take this weapon to the next level, Forma is a necessity. The fact that the weapon comes with no polarities at all means that once you have the required mods installed, you have no room for anything else. 3 or 4 V polarities would free up enough mod space to put all your elemental mods on the weapon, further boosting the damage. The one thing I would say on this weapon is not to put the dual stat event mods on, and go for the dash polarity elemental mods instead. This is purely because although you do have a reasonable status chance on the weapon, the Sybaris is there to do max damage on a single target, and take them down quickly, not to spread status effects around multiple targets. So in essence, the Sybaris is a high damage, accurate burst fire weapon with the ability to take down heavy units, with well aimed, accurate shots to the weak spots. An all round solid weapon, provided you can live with that magazine capacity. As always guys, many thanks for watching, please remember to leave a like and subscribe, and I shall see you in the next episode.